Hello and welcome to the second session of Apocalypse Keys. This is Till We Have Faces. This is a quarterly campaign of Apocalypse Keys, which is out from Evil Hat, written by Rae Nedjadi. The Roll20 implementation of this should be out soon, I believe this month. And within the next few months, we should be seeing the hard copy of it. The PDF is available for backers right now. We are playing from a Google document, so you may hear us refer to that. We worked with our 3 PCs last time to get them set up, and we're roping in the 4th today, which is what we're going to be starting with, and getting all of those things set up. Before we have Alan introduce his character, I'd like to go around and have the returning characters introduce themselves. First, I just want to mention we have our safety tools there on the Safety First and Dice Room tab. I want to briefly go over that again. I won't do this every session, but just to remind you again, X card, open door policy, and our Safety First tools. I have the romance matrix on there for players' comfort with romantic interactions and BC situations like that. So feel free to add to that. For green, for things that people are interested in, these are elements of stories that we're going to try and lean into. Alienation, attempts at love romance, moral dilemmas, body corruption, decay, and enthalpy. High weirdness, powers as disabilities. And then yellow, we have love/romance, which is one of the reasons we put the romance matrix in there, is to allow players to have some control over that if they're less comfortable with those kinds of stories, or they want to play an aromantic character in the game. And then red, these are things that are themes, stories, and ideas we will not see at all in the game. This is our hard lines. Graphic depictions of blunt force head trauma, sexual assault, harm to children, torture by the PCs, misogyny. And this is a living document, so I will check back in again. We'll make sure on where everybody is at in the course of play. So today I want to, as I said, hey, my name's Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I'm GMing this thing. I get rolling into this because I'm so excited, and I forgot to mention that. So if you skipped over the session 0, I apologize. A little bit of session 0 at the start of this. Some people don't like to listen to that. I don't mind it. It's all good. So let's start. Adish, would you please give us the elevator pitch on who your character is? Tell us what we kind of need to know about them.
Yeah. Egther, or which means edge servant, which could be interpreted as servant of the sword or a sword servant. He is the last of the giants, and the giants were the people who ruled the earth before the rise of humanity. So this is millennia back. He's the last of the giants as far as he knows, but actually there is another one who Weeper knows about. He is, I would say, relatively, he likes humanity, but he is tempted to try to bring his own people back at the expense of humanity, or just destroy all life on Earth, because he's sad also. So.
Awesome. And you have a wolf, right?
Yeah, I have an 8-legged wolf who never leaves my side, or never, not never, but
right.
He is generally nearby.
Okay.
And I should say that Egther generally presents as looking like a normal human, but he can assume his giant form, which may be gigantic or not. It's a bit nebulous.
Okay. Awesome. Let's now have Paul. Paul, please introduce your character.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing is Weeper, the drinker of tears, who you could just about say is also he, him. Weeper was created when Jesus died on the cross. A tear from Jesus fell upon the original Weeper. And Weeper now goes around cursing and corrupting the innocent, because he believes that basically God lies beyond the door, Doom's door, and basically God has cursed Weeper, so he will somehow get his revenge upon God. And yeah, really goes around spreading nastiness. Yeah, that's Weeper.
Excellent, excellent. And then last but not least, Puckett, would you introduce your character?
Hey there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Lissa Starkweather, who uses she, her pronouns. Lissa is relatively young, 24, 25, and her parents died when she was very young. What she didn't know is that her parents died to basically make her a harbinger of destruction that would give her cosmic powers. So, for example, she can create black holes. She can create stars. If it's something that exists in the cosmos, if it's a natural or physical force that exists in space, it's something that she can harness and wield and deploy. And all this time, she just thought she was cursed because people kept dying around her, and she didn't understand quite what was going on. And then once Division reached out to her and found her, and she learned the horrible truth, well, she's a little messed up from that. Understandably, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. I think that gives us a good sense. Which brings us to our new operative, our new agent of Division. Alan, tell us what you have gone with.
I've opted for the Fallen playbook. I am a fallen god of the earth. None of this Johnny come lately fallen angel rubbish. I'm a proper fallen god. And I think probably over time I've adopted he, him, but I'm not sure that's necessarily fixed. There was a time when I had a dalliance with a pope, and I was certainly a she, her then, as I remember. And yeah, I am faded, but principally deceitful. I am a master of lies. Which pope? Probably the one who was a woman disguised as a man. And in terms of my look, something that hints at how I try my best to be human. I am very heavily tattooed, because I see that as I first encountered that sometime before the Middle Ages, and it's been around a long time. Eyes that cover my entire body. In fact, the tattoos go a long way to disguise them. And on occasion, I will display a multitude of wings made of light and sound. And I've included a possible picture in the Character Keeper of what I may look like when I reveal my true glory to my worshippers.
How are you saying that name?
Suriel Gath.
Okay.
Suri to his friends, of which there are few.
Tell us about your choice for your origin. Tell us what that entails.
Yeah, once a mighty god of this earth that was killed by my worshippers. Humanity is shot through with fundamental bad judgment. That has not changed in a very long time. Yes, some sort of Messiah appeared somewhere at some time, claiming that I wasn't a god at all, but some sort of demonic creature. And and my worshippers killed me by ceasing to worship me. Well, kill. You can't kill a god, obviously, but I fell from their grace at least. And frankly, it still rankles.
Who are the gods who taunt you?
Divine servants who grew in power as I have weakened. And that depends, for the most part, it's really smug East Asian mystics. It's people who claim to commune with angels. It's all the current range of deities that have any grip on the world. Happily, I see that grip weakening day by day. So they've got it coming.
And your powers?
Yeah, I've gone for soul venom, and fey glamour, because if you look at Surreal Gas Picture, he's quite a good-looking piece, and somewhat different from his perhaps native form.
And what do you imagine soul venom means? Is it a poison that goes into the soul? Is it something that poisons the soul? Is it something else?
I think it is about poisoning the life force. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's probably vampiric in it not in as much as I necessarily gain from it, but it certainly weakens the soul and well-being of those I subject to it.
And there is the thing outside you. There is the darkness, either abstract or personified, that is pushing you, that is driving you in a different direction than you might want. What is it that darkness demands of you?
I think it's an interesting question with whether this is external or whether I claim it's external, because I think I need to be back where I started. So the darkness demands I create dark churches in my name, and to make my fellow monsters my worshippers, because that would be the logical order of things. In fact, preordained order of things.
Right.
I thought that fitted with my starting move, which is call me master.
And that is mesmerizing NPCs.
Yeah. And it also ties into gaining darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Feel others are beneath me. Ask someone to worship me. Generally friendly things.
Yeah, the classics.
That build a team.
Right. And what did you take for your other moves?
Yeah, I did I get this right? I might do one other move.
So you get one other standard move.
Yeah.
And then you get either a ruin move or a division move.
Yeah. I quite liked the standard move, honeyed tongue and clouded minds. You have only survived through the ability to lie and charm. And I was thinking of some ruin. I was quite taken with the idea of a beloved nemesis.
Interesting.
Whether this is, technically the one who orchestrated your fall is out in the world. I'm not sure whether, maybe they are. Maybe whoever led that plot to overthrow me and subvert my former worshippers achieved some kind of godhead themselves and is still about. Now I come to think of it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is a good one. We'll have to have you figure out a name, and you'll write in that you have a bond with them under your bonds. What do you think they want? And what did they take from you when you fell?
Oh, they took everything that mattered to me.
Okay.
Which was position, power, worship, manner. I mean, perhaps it's an interesting question. Do they think they are my nemesis, or do they think they won? Am I their nemesis?
That is a question. But why do you still care for them? What is the thing that like isn't just the negative feeling that you have?
They and I are the only ones who remember how it used to be. While I endlessly tell other people what it was like, the harsh reality is that no one actually knows other than them and me. Can't live with them, can't live without them.
I like it. So let's come up to your bond questions here. So I had everybody do one of their two bond questions last time. So let's have you do one of your two first ones, and then we'll go back to the others and get them to do their other bond question, and we'll kind of get it all set here. So which of those two would you like to start with?
This might need a bit of tweaking. As
Sure.
written, it's you made sure my fall was swift and terrible. Why don't I hate you for it? So whether any of you have been about long enough to have been part of that, I don't know. So it might be that we're talking about maintain the fall that I have been embarked on for millennia.
Mm-hmm. The only one whose age would kind of match that would be Egther.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. I like that. It'll be interesting to explore how our backstories intermingle.
So I'm going to slightly rephrase it. Egther made sure my fall remained swift and terrible. Why don't I hate them for it?
What is it today about Egther that you can't stay angry at them?
I think that again, there's a certain reverence for those that have been around a long time. I think that Weeper is so new on the scene, it's a blink of an eye. And the Starkweather girl is almost human, actually. So I think it is that Egther is also not what he was.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Andesh?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a mutual respect and maybe shared commiseration over our respective falls.
I like that.
Respect is a strong word, but I get the drift.
Yeah.
Andish, what is the other PC bond question that we haven't yet answered for you?
That is, we loved each other once. Why do we keep hurting each other? And I already have one with Weeper, so this would be either Turiel or Lissa, and I'm not sure. Kind of think Lissa fits better for it, maybe.
Okay.
I kind of, mostly because I don't see Suriel actually having the capacity for love in that that sense, maybe, but maybe that's my view.
I think that is certainly where the audience begins.
So do you think it was a brief affair? Was it more friendly entanglement of that connection? What do you feel like that what relationship between Egther and Lissa was?
From Egther's side, I think this was him trying to be human, and whether that was expressed as actual a romantic relationship or a close friendship, I'm not sure. What do you think, Mike?
So I almost feel like this could be an on again, off again thing where we somehow keep trying.
Mhm.
But I think it started from friendship. I think I turned to you for comfort because it feels like you understand more than Weeper would what it's like to lose a lot of things. I mean, obviously your loss is massive. I mean, you lost your entire world, whereas I just lost like all my friends, my family, etc. But I feel like it might have stemmed from that shared, albeit different levels of trauma. And we were able to relate to each other on that level. And then because I'm an absolute disaster and I can't keep my feelings out of things, that kind of shifted into that emotional connection shifted it. We tried to turn it into a romantic one, and it just, I don't know. I feel like it's something that I probably keep coming back to.
Mhm. Yeah, that works for me.
And that actually kind of leads into my question, because I feel like this might have started after I tried to make a pass at Suriel. And, Alan, if this is something that's okay with you, I mean, it says, who did you basically get involved with and rejected for your own sake? But we can get to that in a second, because, there's other stuff to take care of. But does that make sense to you, Anders?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Muted. Since you mentioned it, why don't we take a look at that question, Puckett, that you had there?
In my case, it's I love you, but you rejected me for my own sake. Why?
And you were thinking Suriel for that?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's self-evidently true why you would love me.
Right.
That is simply you conforming to what should be the order of the world.
I just thought it's because you were hot, but
to those that see, there is the view that is given. I love you, but you rejected me for my own sake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So yeah, why did you reject? Like, I mean, in some ways to protect or maintain, sustain Lissa?
And a potential follower,
Why?
no less.
Yeah, yes. You see, this is the problem. Love is one thing, worship is another. You were content just to love me. Worship was a step you couldn't take, and it would have destroyed you if you had. And I'm fond enough of you.
Okay. That works.
That seems fair. Paul, what is your second Bond question?
Your heart wishes to consume me. Why do we bring out the worst in each other? I will direct that at Suriel.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, my heart. I'm a very big-hearted monster, and I certainly wish to consume you, because actually, you're on the wrong side, Weeper. The tears of Christ. Come on. So
Are you good with that?
That works for me. Why do we bring out the worst in each other? Well, I think that my view is that you're connected to this Johnny Come Lately, or have your origins linked to that Johnny Come Lately, and you
The
You
one
need-
true God
You
has
need
stolen your followers,
to
and now
sort
you
yourself
are a
out.
worm.
Weeper, you'll take 2 bonds with Suriel. Who was it who was connected for that 1 bond question for you?
Egther.
Okay, all right. I should be sure on that. Which does bring us, last but not least, Alan, for the second bond question with another PC.
Yeah. You long to worship me. Your heart yearns for me. Why do I keep my distance from you? I don't know if that's too boringly the flip side of Lissa Starkweather's view of me. I don't know.
I think that's fair.
I'm good
It
with
gives
that.
you those bonds for reactions.
Yeah. So Lissa longs to worship me. Her heart yearns for me. Why do I keep my distance from you? Is this see above?
Feels like. Unless you're also perhaps in that part of your soul that you don't even acknowledge because it's just too ridiculous to even contemplate. Are you worried that you might actually fall in love with me in return, and in some way
That's an
lose
interesting
part
one.
of godhood?
Yeah. To love is to be weak. And
Okay.
gods are not weak. Yeah?
That works. I have some questions now that I'm going to come around. And this comes back to our other bond question here. So Egther, the darkness demands some things of you. And the question is, why are you tempted to give into those things? And then I have a counterpoint question after that.
Loneliness and grief. Egther, he can appreciate some aspects of humanity, but they are not his people. And he longs for his own kind, and or to not have this almost sometimes he feels it would be better to be completely alone than to be constantly reminded of by this pale shadow of what he used to have.
And let me ask you this. You work for Division. You are an operative for them. You are carrying out these tasks. Why? Like what binds you here? Is it do they have something over you? Do they have magics that control you? Is it them just playing on your emotions and your background? Do they have something to offer you that you're waiting for? What is it that makes you, an actual agent, that you're not just a crazy monster out there?
I'm not sure what's most interesting here. It could be that he's doing it of his own volition, and just, even if he's not always sure that he wants to keep humanity around, he doesn't want them ended by anyone else. Like if it's going to happen, it's going to be on his terms, or in general, he's pro-humanity. Or if they have some way to destroy him, I'm not sure what's most interesting.
Well,
if one of those is, yeah.
If you're pro-humanity, then that represents an actual kind of a real tension here between what the darkness is asking of you and what you're feeling. That you kind of don't want those things to come to pass. Does that feel more right on the money?
Yeah, I mean, this is. I think this is the central tension of his
Okay.
internal struggle. It's like, should I do I protect humanity or do I destroy humanity? It's in the hopes of bringing back my own people. I think those are his. That's what he struggles with.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. Uh Paul, for Weeper, why are you tempted to give in, to surrender yourself to what the darkness demands of you?
Because that could bring about the return of God. Which maybe wouldn't be a bad thing for humanity.
Okay. So that is what's drawing you, that idea that might rebirth God. It might get you out of this cycle of this curse. What is it that makes you an agent of division? What motivates you? What binds you? What ties you? Why is it that they trust you to go out into the field and not become a harbinger immediately, and that kind of thing? What is that?
Because somewhere in division, they know the true name of God.
And is that something you want, or is that something they can use against you, or what?
No, I want it. That's power over God.
Okay. And I can't remember. Had you taken that division move?
I took holy weapons.
That's right. That's right. That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah. So that nicely dovetails in with that. Uh, uh, for Lissa, what is it? Why is she tempted to give in to what the darkness is asking for?
Don't you ever get tired? I mean, it's exhausting to have this constant weight on me. It's not just on my shoulders, it's just on me, all of me. The power, what could happen if I sneeze at the wrong time? It's just, I'm so tired.
And what is it that division? I mean, do they have you chained? Have they offered to help you? Are you coming because they know about it? Is it a place that you can rest safely? What is it that binds you to division?
I think it's just understanding and recognition.
Okay.
And that everyone here, at least the powered individuals, for lack of a better way to put it, they can at least understand that, maybe not from a human perspective, but I don't know, maybe it seemed like they could. And now I'm just kind of stuck here with a bunch of people who don't understand why I feel tired all the time, because they're just used to this. You know, they're all at least a couple thousand years old. You know, it makes me feel like I'm in kindergarten with 3 teachers almost. And I guess I thought it was a place where people could understand, and I found out that, strangely enough, I'm even more alien here.
Interesting. Surreal? Why is it that you're tempted to give in to what the darkness is demanding of you?
Well, in a funny way, it is what I want to happen. I want to make people my worshippers. I want to be what I once was. I want there to be churches founded in my name. So it's not a question of why would I? It's why wouldn't I
Yeah.
want this to happen?
What is stopping you? What is
Well,
it that kind of catches you between? Because at times you will be trapped in between what the darkness is asking of you and what your better instincts are. So what
yeah.
is that from?
Well, because then the universe calls my bluff and gives me what I claim to want. And that puts me on a different kind of knife edge as to whether I actually really want it back for all the bluster and demand for worship. Do I actually want it back?
Interesting. That's a very interesting balance act there. I like that.
Surreal Gath is a very complicated thing.
We talked last time about the division offices, which are located in Gothenburg. Am I saying that close to right? Beneath a museum there. We talked about the fact that some people live on site, some people come in, but it's a fairly substantial facility, a hub facility there. Within this place, in this hub for division, Egther, how are human agents treated differently from monstrous agents? Like, what's the hierarchy here? Are there monstrous agents in the administration, or is it just humans in this section, or is there some variance? Like, what does that look like?
I think there may be some non-humans who work administrative positions. Yeah, I think some of them are, but like I think management, like higher management, is all human.
Okay.
And whether that's a question of discrimination or something else, I don't think that's entirely clear.
Okay. It's uncertain how much that's, there are rumors maybe that there are some monsters in other places that are in positions of authority.
Yeah, I think so.
Just not here.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh 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 Paul, what is the uh area of these division offices that is off limits even to you?
Deep archives.
And what do we know about these deep archives? We talked about them a little bit last time. I think we hinted at some of that stuff.
Are we talking about the ye olde classic Indiana Jones warehouse?
Okay. Yeah, we talked about the fact that there are some real objects of power, but then even below that, there's a deeper black chamber of things that you and other Omen class monsters aren't allowed into.
Yep.
Puckett, what's the most surprisingly nice, mundane feature of this underground facility?
There's a cafeteria.
Okay.
Serves what I think of as comfort foods like mac and cheese, biscuits and rolls and green beans that are a little overdone because they've been sitting out too long in like a warming dish. You know how they get with cafeterias, but it's comforting. I mean, it reminds me of a diner near the college that I used to go to, and it's open 24/7.
Is it well done? Is there a kitchen staff there, that kind of thing, or is it people that are actually just kind of opening things up?
There's actually sort of a kitchen staff, but it's kitchen staff like you might find in a prison. We're not talking like Michelin-starred chefs.
Okay.
We're talking about people who can put batter on a griddle and make some pancakes.
Okay.
You know, short order cook type stuff.
Yeah. We have cooks, not chefs there.
Yes.
Dealing with that. Cyril, what is your favorite part of this division HQ?
Oh, that's interesting. The museum. Because it has to have some kind of black museum. Maybe it's one of those floors above the deep archives.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it has a black museum.
Yeah. These are objects of some power that they don't let the general public show that in the museum up above. And so many of them are objects of worship and veneration for gods and spirits and things like that either you knew or you know is made up, or you've never heard of. It's sort of a family portrait gallery for you walking through there.
3 of them represent efforts on my behalf across time, but I keep that to myself.
Nice. So, Egther, what do we see when we're here in division and the alarm goes off for the start of day for Egther? What is it we see on camera? What do we see happening? What are your rooms like? That kind of thing.
Ooh, interesting. I think Egther has quite spacious quarters that are very sparsely furnished. It's like bare stone walls, bare stone floor. He's got a bed, he has a table, he has a wooden chair, but it's kind of like a big, rough wooden chair with like armrests, that sort of thing. He has, I think he has a lot of books. So he has, but it's like one proper bookshelf, and then there's piles everywhere. And I think the alarm is, I think there's like the flashing light and kind of the klaxon, right, which is very incongruous with the rest of his quarters. And he, when the alarm goes off, he doesn't rush out, but he kind of shrugs into his coat, puts on his hat, and calls his wolf, which I just realized I need to name. And they walk out and see like there's people rushing to and fro in the corridor outside, and he kind of looks from side to side and then walks off towards wherever he's supposed to go.
You take up probably these corridors are wide, but even so, you probably just through your presence and this wolf take up a good amount of space.
Yeah, and I think Egther, even when he's in his human shape and not overly big, he feels large. Like he gives the impression of size, even if he's just like 6'2" or something. He's still, yeah.
Weeper, what went wrong on your last case, and what are the signs or marks that you still bear from that?
I think I fed on some people that there was a problem in Gothenburg. Yeah, large amounts of people killed. I fed on one person. They then went a bit nuts. Yeah, caused a lot of death and destruction in Gothenburg.
And how is that reflected? Have they put a like a warning bracelet on you, or is there something in your physical appearance that shows that you're come back a little bit different? What do you think that is?
Yeah, let's have a bit of shame. I think I'm a lot more. It's really scaled back my feeding, and I look very tattered, very in poor health, and very decayed.
And why is that? Is that what happens when you feed, or have you then starved yourself
It's
a
what
little?
happens when I don't feed.
Okay.
Yeah, I grow a lot less human.
Interesting. Lissa, what kinds of duties are you put to in between cases? Is it training? Is it administration? Is it research? Is it something else? Like, what do we see you doing? Or are you given no duties in between? What do we see you doing that tells us that you're kind of clearly between operations?
It's kind of a mix for me. I think it's different for everyone based on, well, how they appear. I mean, some of us are probably not really able to go out in public. And in my case, I don't know why the hell they thought I'd be good with this. They made me something of a docent.
Okay.
And for people who generously don't, like for the generous donors to the museum, they trot me out to give them a tour, including some of the more restricted areas. Nothing truly weird.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing from the Dark Archive, nothing from the Black Museum floor, but some of the stranger things that maybe are in storage because they kind of creep people out when they're on display. And the rest of the time, I'm largely left to my own devices. They support my research efforts in trying to understand more about my powers when I try to go do that, which isn't really often. A lot of times you'll just see me in my quarters, laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, headphones on or earbuds in, listening to music. Yeah.
Is the person who oversees your being the docent, assigns you to that, kind of your supervisor or liaison, is that a human? Is it a monster? Is it a low-level monster? Is it something else?
The person who assigned me that task is in fact human and actually leads this division office.
Okay.
Now, on the flip side of it, I have a supervisor at the museum who is also human, and she's older and she is so petty.
Okay.
Like she expects me to be in the museum's proper uniform when I do these things. She scolds me when I don't show up in uniform, which is every time. She reminds me of, what was there? Dolores Umbridge?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good touchstone. All right. Alan, tell me about, yes. Yeah.
No, go on. Ask the question.
You had something to say? No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that Suri often turns up on those tours, and plays the big shot. I don't normally do this. Lissa's in charge, obviously, but I can tell you some stories because I love the hero worship that comes off the school parties.
Talk about petty. I love that. Serial, who is the monster that is here in the division offices who like he got broke or they got broke or she got broke and they don't send them out anymore, but like from time to time they ask you to go and check in on them? Who is that?
Well, that's an interesting one. I think it's I think that I'm just wondering whether it would be neat for them to be one of the Omen class that is not in play. So I'm thinking
Sure.
found, hang on, let me just check. Yeah, found or summoned or shade. I think they didn't used to be a shade, but they are a shade now. Yeah, yes, I think that something happened on an operation that broke this. I mean, the shade, I have a special and personal relationship with death.
Mm-hmm.
I think that something happened on an operation that turned this monster into an incarnation of death. And I think that I get sent as liaison because I convince people that I can't be killed because I'm a god. I am like energy. My form can change, but you cannot destroy me. Though I
So
am slightly nervous that Lissa could just sneeze the wrong way one day.
so they've got this person contained away for the moment. What is your relationship to them like? How would you say you interact with them?
I think that perhaps in any scenes with them we see a slightly more humane version of Surreal Gath.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe I look at them and I think one day I could be in this cell.
Interesting.
There are lines that Division puts in place which can be uncomfortable.
Excellent. We're going to take our first break here. We're going to take 10. We're going to come back and we're going to roll into the briefing for our first case. So we will be back in 10. All right. Everybody cool back? So you four, there is that bit that we see in montage of all of you being called up, being called to the facility hangar, being driven out onto the tarmac on the outskirts of the city, where you are bundled into a helicopter and taken into the skies. And your handler, person who's overseeing this, briefing agent, Egther, male, female, something else?
Female, I think.
Okay. And Weeper, older, younger, monster, not monster?
Non-monster, younger.
Okay. She has pulled up on a tablet and some things. They haven't really given you too much before they've bundled you into the vehicle. That's not entirely unusual. But there is a bit here where she's seated and she opens up some packets and that are sealed. Tearaway, she'll hand one to each of you and she'll say, you're going to need to put these in your mouth and bite down on these during transit. unless you're already cleared for portal dispersion and you don't need it. And she'll kind of look around to see if anybody says anything.
Oh, yes. Ah, portal dispersion, of course.
Okay. So here's the briefing that we have right now. It's an immediate situation. We have been given clearance to use some of the emergency transport protocols. The particular location we are going to has been subject to certain reality storm effects based on past operations, meaning that it's tricky to get to. But here's the deal. 2 Omen class monsters, an agent trainer named Vex, and a new recruit, Mr. Knock, have both gone missing. Less than 24 hours ago, our psychics deciphered a distress signal from decommissioned division base 0001. It is where the first door is secured under maximum security protocols. This is an object of power. These security measures apparently have been compromised, and apparently are not effective against Harbinger class monsters. We're worried about what's going to happen here. We want you to go in and find Vex and Mr. Knock. If either or both have succumbed to the Harbinger within them, you have direct orders to eliminate them. We need you to find that door power at the first door, and we need you to contain it before a Harbinger claims ascension.
When are you going to tell us something we don't know?
I wasn't aware you'd already been briefed.
As though have you not been told all this? I say to the other 3.
Leave it, Cyril. She's only doing her job.
Yes, it just seems to be hugely inefficient to do things twice.
I
She
mean,
knows not what she does.
but Cyril kind of has a point. I mean, we're always doing something like this. This is the job. This is every time. Stop
This
the
is our
apocalypse.
toil.
Oh, I think, Lisa, you're missing the point here. My assumption was that you also had been briefed, as I have.
I guess I'm just not as special as you, Cyril.
That, sadly, is obviously true. I believe I reacted with spite or arrogance to this briefing.
Yes. How many darkness tokens do you want to scoop up and put in your pool right now? 2 to 4.
I think I'd like 2 just to keep me ticking over.
Just a little nibble on those darkness tokens.
Yeah.
And again, to remind you, darkness tokens are our economy for rolling. You can generate them ahead of time, or you can generate them in the moment, justifying how it is that you have done that. She'll say, well, I guess if you've already been briefed, then I don't need to go over anything else.
Well, don't worry, my dear. I'm sure that you just didn't get the memo. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ignore me. Ignore me. And listening carefully because he knows nothing of this.
Right. She'll say, are there any other questions? She'll look around. All right. Well, Angel Goramo is going to be on site as your contact when you get there, and they should be able to answer anything else that you have. And she will nod to you, and you'll see her put on a breather mask, grab up a pack, throw the side open of the helicopter and Halo jump out, and then the door will slam shut. And it's just the four of you in the back of the vehicle as it hums out over the land and then over the water. Egther, what's your take on this? Is this Surreal's typical approach to things, you think? Or is this a new tactic?
I think I'm fairly used to him, like, throwing his weight around and pretending to be more important than he is. At least that's how I interpret it.
Okay. There will be a warning light klaxon that will come on. Weeper, what is the visual or the physical sensation or on-screen special effect that we see that tells us that the helicopter is transitioning, is moving through some kind of supernatural portal?
I think it is that sort of like gelatinous barrier that you often see. It doesn't really slow it down, but you definitely see it go through a shimmering sort of gelatinous barrier.
Hits that they'll feel that transition point. The quality of the light changes a little. That kind of super saturated when somebody tries to turn up the cyan and orange in a movie too much, and that get a little bit of that. And then the pilot will say, "We're about 2 minutes out. If you want to get your stuff ready, we'll be on the ground for 30 seconds before we'll be taking off. Retrieval measures will be briefed by your contact on site." And then the helicopter comes down. It lands that kind of hard, that bounce that is never comfortable when you're in an air vehicle. And again, the door comes open. That all you see is sort of dust and snow outside as the four of you bundle out. What's your manner, Lissa? Like, are you fast out of the helicopter? Are you cautious? Are you slow? Like, what do we see?
I'm just over it. We're always getting asked to do some ridiculous shit like this. I'm tired. It's dull. It's not exciting anymore. It was fun for a while. Now it's just dull.
Okay.
And I think I'll take 2 darkness tokens because I'm feeling numb as I get out of the helicopter.
I like that. I like that. So you will all unload from this place, and you can see from after this ground, the sort of air clears. You can see that there's a mountain. It's that kind of almost ridiculous painted backdrop mountain it's sort of too big. The ground kind of vanishes off into snow and rocks, and there are the remains of like airfield and old landing pads and like motor pool kind of area out front here, but they have been cracked and broken and overgrown, some of it from battle damage, but some of it from just natural forces and stuff. This place has clearly not been used as a main base for some time. But you will see that there is a ridiculously large metal doors, that kind of metal doors that they have for end of the world nuclear blast kind of thing out there. And you will see a figure kind of standing there waiting for you, long white hair, tech, like a very carefully tailored suit, vaping, and Angel Goramel will kind of wander up to where you are. Let me ask you this, Egther, you used to be partners for a short time with Angel Goramel. Um, they've told a variety of stories about how they fell from heavens. What is the story that they told you?
Hmm. Interesting. I think they told me that I think they told me that they uh, found an inconsistency in the rules for the divine bureaucracy, or at least that's how they interpreted it, and they tried to follow the rules uh, to their full and perfect extent, but there was a contradiction, and that caused them to fall.
Yeah, and you know that they have a little bit of problem following rules exactly now. Like that's a curse that's on them. They have to always just like tweak things just slightly. Uh, uh, Weeper, it has been a long time since you've been at this facility, but you were here when an apocalyptic threat like forced the clearance of this location. Uh, who did you leave behind?
I think it was Agent Drax.
Okay. Who are they, and why do you think they might still be alive?
Agent Drax can sort of rewrite people's perception, illusions on a grand scale, and this just doesn't look right. So I think there might be evidence that Drax could be here.
Okay. Goramel comes up. He's tall. Like regardless of how tall any of you are, he presents as just slightly taller. And he'll say, "It's good to see you, Egther. It has been a while."
It has indeed, Goramel. For
Uh,
however we measure time.
True, true. We've got quite a team here. Weeper, I understand it that you were in the facility before.
I have been here, but you know, you probably couldn't understand it, what we were doing here before. But yes, I have been here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've heard of you, Suriel, but never met. Good to meet another one of the fallen.
Doe, of course, Doe. Of course you've heard of me. Yes. I think I've heard of you.
Looks just a little wounded, like you get the reaction that you kind of want out of him.
Great.
He says, do you have any questions about the personnel or anything? I don't know how much the briefing went over before we head on in.
Should I just like open a black hole and suck this whole mess in so we can go home and be done?
Says you're welcome to try. I think that the issue is the power level of the first door, and given the resources that have been put into Vex and Knock, it's reasonable to try and extricate them if they can be extricated. But I'm not in charge of the mission on the ground here.
Whatever. And I'll take 2 tokens for asking someone to use my power as they see fit.
Okay. And he says, any questions?
Astoria
right.
will look at the others as if to say, anything you need to know? Because I know it all.
Of course you do. Of course you do, Sierra.
And if
Only
you
I
don't
have
ask,
your knowledge.
okay.
And in fact, on that, feel a yearning for something I cannot have. I'll gain 2 tokens.
Okay. All right. If you don't ask any questions, then he will start to walk you towards the first base, essentially, and towards these massive doors. What do you think is needed to gain entry here, Agatha? The doors are kind of open, but what is required to kind of cross the threshold?
I'm not sure if I understood the significance of the doors. I mean, I understand that they're big and so on, but
Yeah,
am I right in thinking these aren't the door?
No, these
These
are
are
the
a door.
doors to this division facility.
Okay.
The first door, whatever it is, lies secured within this facility.
Right. Yeah, passing through the door. I think you need to carry division's mark in some sense.
Okay. Yeah, some kind of presentation of the badge or mark or something, such that you are recognized, and you can definitely feel the 4 of you as you pass through that there are significant magical barriers and workings surrounding this place. The division has invested a lot of power to keep things in that need to be kept in. And we'll walk you in. There's the sort of the great big entry hall here, broken down vehicles and the kind of the motor pool here, classic, catwalks that have kind of broken off and are dangling down. There's the weird light coming in from the outside, but there's clearly no electricity going on in here. And so various divine glows and flashlights from the 4 of you and Gormil are used to illuminate the space as you go through. And right away, once you kind of start to get into the hallways here, Weeper, you realize like you have no idea. This layout, this map, these routes, what you're seeing here bears no resemblance to what you recall of the facility. Nothing at all.
They've done some interior redecoration here. Be careful, folks.
And you'll actually walk along in a couple of places. You can see where hallways have been twisted and have actually kind of broken. And there are gaps where sections of floor have fallen away, and there's actually caves down below. And Garmiel will move you, around carefully there. You're definitely picking up a wind that is roaring through here. That a sound that has kind of picked up, especially now that you've gotten closer to the caves, and Gormil will say, we should probably drop down a level, and will divinely lift up on wings, but doesn't go down first. Kind of looks at the four of you to see which of you will drop down into this cavern below.
Well, I mean, it would be inappropriate for me not to go first. I think it's probably best if I go first, don't you? And does it look like a big drop or a difficult climb?
It looks like, I mean, with your wings and your skills, I don't think it's any worry for you to drop down the 40 or 50 feet to the walkway below.
So I think, dressed as I am in my suit, step off the edge, drop, and then the wings come out and just gently coast downwards, and they give off a degree of light. So I'm curious what I see.
There's a mix here of a cavern that has been carved out, like, worked flat walls and stuff, but also natural caverns here, with uneven flooring, weirdly, and several hallways going off from it. Ecther, do you just drop down? Do you fly? Like, what does it look like when you transport?
I think I offer Lissa, like, offer my hand, because I'm not sure if she feels she can get down on her own. I don't know. How would you react to that?
I'd look at you and jump and use my cosmic powers to gently slow my descent.
Well, then I just shrug and leap down after you, and I think I just leap and I land on my feet, like hunkering down. But it's a massive impact, much larger than my frame would suggest.
Perfect. How many tokens do you want to take for being rejected?
Oh, I think 3. Like, I was
Okay.
genuinely offering to like closeness and help, and she just shut me down.
All right.
I wonder whether I have felt others are beneath me by taking the lead here.
Yeah, you can always, it is always your option as to that. You can always, stoke those flames. You have to take at least 2.
Yeah, well, I think this time I'll take 4, going for 6 in toto.
Oh, you don't want to do that, but you can. So just to remind you, you are okay with darkness tokens until we resolve a move. And if you have 5 or more at the end of a move, then things don't go well. Just a reminder. You're aware of the
when
situation.
you say 5 or more, right, let me understand. So if I say I spend a darkness token to roll with, does that go from 6 down to 5?
Yes, it does.
Fine. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, you're all good then. You're in good shape. And Weeper?
I'll jump down, but I've got no special abilities apart from I'm basically a large sack of maggots.
Okay.
So I'll just sort of splat and pull myself together and stand up with various sort of bits of me dripping off.
And
I hate it when he does that.
It is as a sound that regardless of how you're trying to avoid hearing it, it pierces the ear. And as you land, that howling, that sound gets larger, gets louder, the pressure of it, and then there is a tidal wave of inky shadows that pour out of these side halls, these side cave entrances, and as they roll forward, you can see that there are these golden and white dots in and amongst, and you realize that these are humanoid forms, kind of a mass. They're sort of liquid and shadow rolling together. The eyes are kind of defining the individual ones, and maybe 4 or 5 groups comprising a couple dozen of these things come rushing at the group of you. What do you do, Egther? And now kind of looking at our mechanics, our basic moves, things like that, and your playbook moves. So what do you want to do? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I need to look at the move. Basic move. I think I want to, let's see. I think power through darkness.
Yeah, what is the power that you're using?
Yeah. Egther like puts his hand inside his coat and pulls out his giant, massive hammer. I put a picture on my in the playbook, and of course it's far too large to fit under there. And he slams the haft down, the end of the haft down on the ground, and calls on the power of his people to push away these dark spirits.
So your goal is less to like attack them, but you want to kind of redirect them to make it easier for your companions to kind of hold them back, to give people a moment. Here is kind of what's going on.
Yeah, I want to shield us basically from.
How many tokens do you want to spend?
Let's see. We're rolling 2d6, right? I'll spend all 3. I'll just
absolutely. You're losing money not spending everything.
Yeah. So 2d6 plus 3, and that's 8. So good thing I spent them.
Yeah. So you will slam that down, and kind of these things are, shifting in flesh and such, and they have to, like, they are stopped and held, all these groups, as they're trying to kind of push past to get at you, giving the others ample opportunity to do whatever they want to deal with them. You have them just grabbed in control, like nothing, and you look awesome doing it. Your wolf, howls with the sound of the earth as it cracks open, and you can tell, all 3 of you, that Egther is in his element. Weeper, I mean, before you even have a chance to act, Egther has control of the situation, but these things are still here. They're still dangerous. What do you want to do?
I'd like to use a holy weapon.
Okay.
Just to see what that does.
So let's look at that.
Division, holy symbol, arsenal. I think, yes, I will pull the Star of God. It's called. It's a magical device that Jesus blessed, and it always emanates a powerful, blinding light.
How vulnerable do you want to make yourself to the forces of divine here when you use this?
Let's go for 2.
Okay. So there is a moment where you pull this out. This is the first time you've used this. And there is a shuddering feeling that you get that echoes for you those moments on the mount, that ripples through you. So go ahead and roll with a +2.
5 in total.
And you've got that out, and you feel that feeling of it being like on the mount, and then you feel, and this is not something that you usually can feel, but you feel the wound in Christ's side, and you feel the pain of that crucifixion as it runs through you. What condition do you want to mark?
Let's have a look. That's really the important thing. Just normal conditions.
Yeah, so you've got those conditions up top.
So these are not hunger conditions then?
No, the hunger conditions, let's see here, are ones that usually come out of that gnawing edge of hunger move.
Okay, I feel lonely as
Okay.
Christ did upon the cross.
Okay. Also mark a point of ruin. And here's the good news. You get to mark a point of XP.
Superb.
Superb. And what
the
does that look
XP
like? What do the others see happen to you?
I think I dropped to the floor, sort of holding my side, and with my other hand, I'm holding this this star. But I clearly, it's sort of sundered me. I've dropped to my knees, and yeah, let's have some talking in tongues. You can never go wrong with a bit of tongues. The XP track. Can you just mechanically explain? I see there's 8 boxes going sideways and quite a few boxes going down. Do you fill all the 8 boxes and then you get 1 going down?
That's correct.
Excellent. Got it.
Lissa, Egther takes command of the situation, but then you see Weeper and you feel this strange tearing, and you see Weeper drop whatever he drew out has affected him badly. What do you do?
First of all, I realize that I do have a starting move that requires something to start at the session.
Oh, let's resolve that then.
My hands around your heart. Yours is a power that was never meant for you alone to bear. At the start of each session, choose another PC to be your heart and share the burden of your power with. Say why you hope they will save you from what the darkness demands. I feel like, and Andish, let me know if this is not cool with you, but I feel like that's probably Egther starting off, at least, which would explain why he was trying to help me down and get me down into this pit without me getting hurt. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And what that means is when we share an intimate together, either of us can mark a condition to reflect the nature of our relationship. We can each gain a bond with the other, or one of us can gain a key at great cost. So got that sorted. I don't like what I just saw with Weeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give into my power and let it erase my will as I create a star.
Okay.
And since I'm giving into my power and I'm letting it erase my will, I feel like that's probably like a 4 darkness token thing. So I will crank my darkness tokens up to 8. And if I finish a move with 5 or more darkness tokens, that's when I have to mark something, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'm going to spend 4 darkness tokens then.
Okay. And what are you doing? Like, what's the move you're doing, you think?
2 seconds as I flip over to basic moves.
Sure.
I think I'm unleashing the dark within me
To do what?
to chase these shadows back, to get rid of them,
Okay.
to
All right.
burn them out of this place. I mean, they may have been human once, but whatever they were, they no longer are.
Perfect. So go ahead and roll with a +4.
That's a 10.
That is a 10. So choose 2 from that list.
I'm going to get what I want from them, and I want them to just go away. I want them to return to wherever they came from, because they need to understand that we're not here for them, and it will end badly for them if they decide they want to get involved.
I think you can remove a portion of them. I think that
Okay.
seems fair. And inflict that condition, and like a good chunk of them melt back and away there when you do that. And the rest are kind of in wild screaming passion at that point, kind of pressing forward, trying to get through Egther's the barriers that he has put up. Suriel?
The second condition, the second thing,
Yeah.
I want to expose a weakness or flaw that somebody else can use.
Okay. So you didn't want to get what you wanted from them?
Well, it's on an 8 to 10, choose 2.
Yeah, you get what you want from it, and I thought you were inflicting a condition, is what you said. Thought that was the 2 you chose.
Oh, I just started with get what I want from them.
Oh, okay.
So sorry about that. I was unclear.
That's okay.
But yes, I'd like to expose a weakness or flaw so that somebody else can act on them with greater efficiency.
Okay. So some of them have pushed away, but the rest are still there, raging, and still fairly dangerous and intact here. Suriel, as you're looking at these howlers, you recognize one of them. Who is it?
Is it either Mr. Vex or Mr. Knock? Is that
Tell
possible?
me.
I think it's
Those are sort of the NPCs of the situation.
Oh, so they too high up the.
I think they might be a
Um,
little high up the
okay.
Food chain here.
I think I will recognize a henchman of my nemesis.
Okay.
I've named my nemesis Gazamak, so I think it's one of Gazamak's hench people.
Yeah, twisted, turned, whatever this last door is, it has changed this thing. They are held, they are raging. What do you want to do? They are more vulnerable to you right now, given the energies that Lissa has let go.
Of course they are. I gesture to Egther and Lissa and address them, and I say, "Behold my power as my wings spread. Kneel before me, kneel before your master." And I will call me master, my starting move.
Okay.
No one can resist the call of your dark heart, not for long anyway. When you declare how you mesmerize onlooking NPCs with your faded power, spend darkness tokens and roll.
Absolutely. How many darkness tokens do you want to spend?
I'd like to put 3 in the pot, please.
Okay. Go ahead and roll with a +3.
Actually, can I put 4 in the pot?
Yes, you may.
So 2d6 is 11 plus 4 is 15.
So on 11 plus, you wonder if this is what you truly desire. You get to you have to choose one from above and one from below.
They will fulfill. They will fulfill a single command exactly as I wish.
Okay. We'll come to what that command is here in a second. And what's the other choice?
An old enemy takes notice and makes a move against you. Mark a condition.
Okay. What condition are you going to mark?
I think I'm going to go with raging. Because how dare my nemesis interfere through this henchman?
Yeah, pushes back on you. You can tell when you make that contact with it that something travels down that line of force. And the henchmen are like, a message is sent. What do you want as the command you want to give?
Take me to Mr. Vex, and I will transmit an image of Mr. Vex from the briefing documents.
Well, I don't think you've been given any briefing documents.
Oh,
Nobody asked
that's
any
true.
questions. You
I
have no
didn't
idea what
look.
Mr. Vex looks like.
I didn't look.
Yeah.
Then that complicates it.
Yes, it does.
Take me to the first door. Lead me to the first door. Because that's where they're going to be, isn't it?
These things will stop where they're at, pull together into this 8-person body, and start to move in a direction here.
And I mean, you can use this if you want it. An old enemy takes notice and makes a move against you. I think that the face of Gazamak appears in the face of their henchman. And that's how I know that's why I'm raging.
Absolutely.
And if you want them to mislead me when we get where we're going, I would be perfectly happy.
Oh, no, my friend.
Just a small question here, Lowell.
Yes.
I thought we were actually past the first door.
Oh, sorry, I mean the
not
first...
wanting to be petty or anything surreal.
No, that was a door. There is the first door.
The first door is a thing, an artifact buried down deep in this place.
It's what this place was built to defend, is the sense I get.
Yes. No, I think it's worth clarifying. Again, there are these great vault doorways to get in here, but this is a place that is made to contain that magical artifact that is called the first door.
Was I being slightly petty there?
Yes.
Yes, I'll gain 2 tokens for that.
Yes. I am going to mark a tick on the doomsday clock, I think, here from that notice there, Surreal. And I think all of you will feel here, even as these things kind of are drawn back together, part of them, they're held, part of them are sent away by Lissa, and then they're made vulnerable. Surreal kind of takes control of them and begin to move. Even as that happens, you will hear like quality of the sound change in here, and some other defenses have been awoken as you feel that echo and vibrate through here. So additional defenses. So I'm going to put that as 2 ticks on the doomsday clock. So yes.
I think that I have asked someone to worship me. So I'd like to top my darkness tokens up from 2 to 5. Is it 5 or more than 5?
So if you have 5 after we resolve a move, then it's a problem.
Okay, so it's okay if I add 3 now to get back to 5.
Yeah, you're absolutely good. We're going to take 5, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the keys and clues and that kind of stuff here. Now that we've kind of had a little combat situation to get a sense of how the action stuff works, we'll talk about what's involved with that. But let's take 5 right here, okay? So as you are there, kind of in the aftermath of that weeper and so on, you will see that Angel Garmiel says, well, so I was just supposed to lead you in here. I'm not part of the active team, so good luck. And he will float back up and go to leave. But this cave has been wrecked and transformed by the changing of the stone by Egther and the force of energy from Lissa here. And right now there is that sort of human bundle of old agents that have been transformed by the last door that are kind of all rolled together, that are waiting to lead you deeper into this place. Now,
quickly,
yes.
Can I use my cosmic powers to keep Angel Gormel with us?
How do you want to do that?
I think I want to increase my gravitational pull in his direction, almost like a tractor beam.
Okay. So it seems to me like you're not revealing your heart. You're actually physically trying to do this to them. So that feels like Unleash the Dark.
All right. And just because, let's go ahead and spend 4 dice on this, or 4 darkness tokens. That's a 12.
That is a 12. So what do you want as your pick there?
Get what I want from them.
Okay. I think you rip them down to the ground and you can hear the cracking as you break their wings. And they scream in agony as they hit the ground.
Kind of numb.
Damn it, Lissa, get a grip.
I just want to say,
Stop it.
Sorry about that, Gormel. I didn't mean to do it that hard. Oh, stop. Look, all of us have been hurt worse than that. Just suck it up, okay? And I'll take 3 tokens for being numb.
Yeah, I was going to say. Why don't you also mark a point of ruin for me?
Happily. And then since
let me get the other's reaction, because you just attacked a fellow agent and broke their wings. So Egther, or actually Weeper, we haven't heard from you in a bit after your moment there. What's your reaction after all this has changed and you see this happen?
I will run over and provide succor. Now, tell me if I'm reveal your heart. I will say you're feeling pain as I feel pain. You are lonely as I am lonely. Does that weave in with reveal your heart?
I think absolutely. It is kind of a comfort and support move. What do you want to? How many tokens do you want to spend?
Let's spend 2.
2. Okay. Go ahead and roll.
8, 9, 10.
Perfect. Choose one.
I think clearer condition. I don't want to be lonely anymore, which sort of fits in well. I've got somebody here that was a bit like me, and now I'm not lonely.
Rush over, even as Lissa is kind of telling them to rub some dirt on it. You rush over. Well, I mean, despite your form, your maggoty, horrible form, you kind of help them up. Now I want to take a pause here because there's something I wanted to say before we went any further here, and then I want to get Egther and Surreal's thoughts. So the mechanic here is gathering keys. There are moves that you have, playbook moves, and otherwise that can be used to gather keys. But you can also say, I want to investigate this situation using blah or blah. When you are trying to figure out what's going on, that is the grasping keys move. We want to, our difficulty here is 2. When we go to do the resolution, which is unlocking Doom's door, then we take however many keys, we attach them to the facets of the investigation, and then we see how many keys you've gotten associated, we subtract the difficulty, and then we roll based on that for unlocking Doom's door. Max on that is a +3, and nothing else can affect that roll. So I just want to put that out there so we kind of know what mechanic we're aiming towards. Egther, what's your reaction to the sort of Lissa Angel Weeper moment there?
I think I will step in behind Lissa and kind of put my hand on her shoulder, and I'm not sure what if I don't think I say anything, but I think because we have this past history, this relationship, I think she knows that I think she has gone too far, but I don't blame her. That's kind of what I'm communicating.
Do you feel it's rising to the level of reveal your heart? Are you trying to connect?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. How many tokens do you want to spend?
Well, I currently have 0, so and I don't.
Is there anything you've done that would have generated those tokens there?
I don't know if this would count as asking someone to doubt their future. Like in the way that if you. No, I'm not sure if that's relevant,
You can
because
roll with just a +0 if you haven't generated any tokens.
yeah, I think that's yeah, it's a 0.
You can still adjust it with bonds, can't you, Lol?
Yes,
Oh,
you can
right.
always spend bonds. Yeah,
Is that after or before the roll?
after the roll. Yeah,
After the roll. Cool.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
Because I have that my hands around your heart move, does this feel like we're sharing an intimate moment together, Andish?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so either of us can mark a condition to reflect the nature of our relationship, and you can either gain a bond or a key. And looking at your playbook, if you embody a condition that affects you, you can gain darkness tokens.
Yeah, cool.
Smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I will mark. Well, it has to be despairing.
Okay.
Yep.
So mark that.
Yeah.
You gain a bond.
Or a key at great cost.
A key at great cost.
I'll go for a bond at this point.
Okay. And then if you think that your action is kind of reflecting your worry and despair over her,
yeah,
you can generate. How many tokens do you want to take for that?
I think 3. I'm genuinely worried about about her, and I'll spend all. I spend 2 of them. I'll keep
spend 2 of them. Okay, so let's have you roll with a +2, and we'll resolve that move, and then we'll come to Surreal.
Yeah, that's a 10. So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So you're going to get to choose one. If they're a PC and choose to deepen the connection further, they're also going to choose one. So what is it that you want from your end there, Egther?
Ooh. I think grow closer.
Okay. So you
I
mark another.
think I
Yeah.
see my own loneliness reflected in Lissa in the way she's numbed herself to the world around.
Mm-hmm.
So I gain another bond with
Yep.
her.
And then Lissa, what's your reaction to that? Are you going to deepen the connection or push away?
I feel like I learned something.
Okay.
So I will mark XP. And I also marked a condition despairing to get a key at great cost.
So I think that this moment here is a moment of realization of, again, how much that numbness has affected you.
Mhm.
Why don't you go ahead and mark 2 ruin?
Okay.
That's going to be the cost. And I think that you will see now that the room has been kind of twisted and turned and things, and the howlers have moved over. You will see a set of lines on a wall, and you kind of look and you realize that someone has done this with some sort of tool, maybe several different tools to do it, but it looks like a detailed map of constellations, but none of these look like they exist in the sky that you know. So mechanically on the mystery map tab, you would put that there in that first key, essentially unknown constellation map.
Okay.
And we would mark, Lissa, you would mark that you're the one who uncovered that key.
All righty. We find that in the keeper.
Now, second to last tab. Surreal. You've kind of watched this. Those howlers are kind of still waiting there for you.
Yes, and I'm bloody angry. And I rage at Egther. Are you going to defend her again? This immature, trigger-happy brat who goes on and on about how difficult it is to bear the power she's been given, and then at a drop of a hat unleashes it at people that are on our side.
Do you want to spank me, Daddy?
No, no,
I'm asking
you're
somebody to
beneath
punish me.
spanking.
So, Alan, let's have you take your darkness tokens.
Yes, I think that probably I've embodied a condition that affects me. I think I will pop another 3 in there to get to 8.
Okay.
And
let me ask you this, Puckett. I mean, is your response legitimately asking for punishment, or are you smarting off?
Since I'm feeling numb and despairing, it sounds smart alecky, but I am actually asking somebody to punish me for what I just did.
Okay.
Because I
go
do
ahead.
feel bad about it. I didn't want
Go
to hurt
ahead
him.
and take your tokens. So I think there is that moment when there's that quiet there, and I think we can hear the ticking of the clocks here as the defenses are wound up in this place. As these things are ready to lead you on down deeper into this facility. And I think actually this is where we're going to stop. This feels like a halfway point to me. Like I think if we stop here, we can start with some fresh scenes rather than dragging things out. And we can lean into some of the investigation stuff for next time. Does that seem cool with everybody?
I have one thing I want to do.
Yes.
We say to Goromel, go, and then look at Lisa and say, you dare. And I'm happy to cut it there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll just decide about that. Let's check in on those questions that you have. Now, these are the start a session questions that generate XP. It does feel, Puckett, like you let go and cause collateral damage. Does that seem fair?
I would agree with that.
Okay, so mark XP for that. Ondish, what is yours?
I don't know where they are.
Oh, so if we look here,
28,
questions,
29.
yeah.
28, 29. Oh, sorry. I had not picked one. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
The one that was picked was, did you share a story of your people and what you lost? And I did not.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure we kind of lean into that for next time. Paul, what about you?
Or I'll pick something else.
Sure.
Did I give in to my hunger at the worst possible moment? I don't think so.
Not
to be
yet.
honest, actually, I don't actually know what my hunger is really. Where is that listed? My hunger.
Your hunger is what you feed on. Feed on the desires and hopes of other people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I didn't generate one XP.
Yeah.
I assumed it was when you triggered the gnawing edge of hunger or something similar.
I think it could be metaphorical if there's a move that triggers it, but also if you're kind of doing that in play, in the fiction. Alan, what is yours?
I'm muted. Like Anders, I didn't spot this one, I have to say, or didn't get round to selecting.
Sure.
So if you're happy for me to select taunt or seduce those who would seek to destroy you, I seduced the creatures of darkness.
Okay. Yeah. Give you a point for that. And we'll make sure we check in on that start a session. We know that Lissa has a start a session, and we know that all of us have a check-in on start a session on that. So we'll definitely make sure we get that set for next time. Let's also look at the situational moves, the end of session moves. Each PC is going to ask, Egther, did you express your monstrous nature and or your humanity?
I definitely expressed my humanity, I would say.
Mark an XP. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Oh, yeah, I think I learned that I genuinely care about Lissa in a way that I didn't think I did.
Okay. Mark an XP. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? PC or NPC?
I don't think so. Not
Okay.
really.
Okay. Let's come to Paul. Paul, did you express your monstrous nature and or your humanity?
Yeah, I think humanity.
Yeah.
I went to save him.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay. And did you learn something significant about one of your fellow monsters? How Lissa would react, I think, is a reasonable one.
Yeah. yeah, the sort of explosive nature of Lissa, or maybe the explosive nature of Surreal,
Yeah.
and maybe the humanity of Egther.
Yeah.
Yeah, one for that then.
Yeah. Mark it
And I
XP.
think I marked one ruin because I did not
Did not unlock.
uncover.
Yeah. And Hector, you'll also mark one ruin because you didn't get a key.
Ah, okay, cool.
Lissa, you don't have to mark a ruin. Did you express your monstrous nature and or your humanity?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh yeah, so mark an XP. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
Apparently I am prone to going too far.
Yeah, that makes sense. So mark an XP. And did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
I learned that Egther is even more compassionate than I thought, and also that Suriel's more of a dick than I thought.
Okay. Awesome. Suriel, did you express your monstrous nature and or your humanity?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
In getting twisted dark creatures to worship me. So I'll mark an XP for that.
Okay. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or your impending ruin?
No, I'm an open book.
Okay, fair enough. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Yes, Egther is profoundly naive in terms of his relationship with Lissa. He just can't see the risk.
I like that. Mark an XP. I would like to do quick stars and wishes, things you liked.
Do I get a ruin as well for not having uncovered?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, you
Right.
get one. Things you liked. Wishes being things you want to see more of, things you want to see less of, requests, that kind of thing. So Adish, can I start with you on stars and wishes?
Yeah, absolutely. Wishes. I want to see more of how Weeper relates to the other PCs. What he thinks of us and how he reacts to us. I think that's my main wish. And stars all around for these very interesting characters. This was super fun, and to Lowell for creating a mystery that feels feels appropriate to the kind of characters we're playing. That's I think it feels like a good match. So that's big star.
Paul, stars, wishes.
Yeah, some good play around, some quite different characters, and you painted quite a gloomy, nasty place, which I think fits in quite well with it. Wishes, I don't know, probably a bit of hand deciphering. Yeah, I find it quite nebulous. A lot of the rules, I like things that are a bit sort of more clear
Sure.
cut. So maybe some people can give me a hand in that. Yeah, I mean, I've got a move there, lol. My standard move. Would that be a good time to crack that at the start of the next mission?
Oh, the gnawing edge of hunger.
No. The one below it. The better to eat you with, my dear. It's about keys, and you said there's that stuff painted the constellation. So before we move on, would that be a good fine?
You could do that then, or you can wait until we've got a couple more clues. But you're welcome to do that right at the start. We can kick off with that as a way to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Let me make a note of that too. So hungry. Start. Good catch. Puckett.
So first of all, Paul, that bit that you did with Weeper just falling down and basically exploding in a pile of maggots that then came back together, that was fantastic. I loved that detail. It was just, that's, on the one hand, it totally grossed me out. On the other, I'm also wondering how Weeper relates to the other agents, because I mean, that's just really wildly alien and inhuman. So, how does that translate with the agents and how they relate? So I'm hugely interested in finding that out. Andish, I loved how gentle Egther was with the criticism. Like, it was just kind of like this, like, they're there. You didn't need to go that far, almost. And I loved that. And then Helen, I think that you are embodying a god exactly as a god would behave, were a god reduced to having to deal with mortals on a daily basis and put up with mortal bullshit. So loved that. And I think that's actually the stars and the wishes, because like I said, I want to find out how Weeper relates to the rest of the team. I'm really interested in finding out how Lissa relates to Weeper, because Egther, Suriel, they might have a bit of an advantage on this point. It's like, oh, I'm old, I've seen a lot of stuff. But Lissa's like 20 something, and like, here's a dude who's a pile of maggots. So find out how that works.
Okay. And Alan.
Yeah, I think stars. My big star is for the falling bag of maggots. I have to say, I put in the chat. This is the 1 point supervillain landing. That was just delightful because it just crystallizes. We're all monsters, but Weeper is monstrous in a way that, frankly, we are not. We may do monstrous things, but Weeper is genuinely a monster. And so I'm curious that Weeper is also, so far, has demonstrated pretty much more humanity than anyone, maybe with Egther's, with the exception of Egther. Though I don't think that's humanity. I think that's naivety. Duh. And I think, Puckett, you are walking the kind of bleeding edge of madness with Lissa. And part of me is going to enjoy pushing you off the edge. And Egther is a good egg. Egther is a good person, I think. But I've a horrible feeling people are going to take advantage of him. And yeah, I think it's a sufficiently creepy kind of setup. And it feels like we are, it's kind of a cross between, I don't know, the Bad Bunch and some bunch of supervillains who've been corralled together to do something. And I think probably that's the way to play it, is as a set of supervillains, or super bracket, hero bracket villains. So yeah, that was very interesting. It is always a bit tricky getting to grips with a new set of rules, and these are sufficiently not ordinary PBTA.
Mm-hmm.
In the way, and good on you, Puckett, for spotting the way that some of these moves and resources interact. Because I have to say, I'm nowhere near that yet. So yeah, that I can see, Paul, why you're saying, let's just, sometimes it will be good for us to explain where we're going, or where we think we're going,
Mm-hmm.
or where we could go for one another, just support one another, because we got lots of sessions.
Yeah.
To get to grips with it. In terms of wishes, I suppose I want us to be careful that gaining darkness token, because there is a sense in which the object is to be unpleasant to someone in order to get a darkness token, and that's part of the game. But I think we probably need to be a bit careful to keep an eye on the, for me, mechanical prize of making some progress in the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And so, certainly I would welcome people say, if you think that Suriel is chewing the theatrical carpet too much, please tell me, and I will tone it down a bit so we can get on with the plot.
And I will say this is a thing that I've noticed with when I've run this, that's a little bit like Forged in the Dark, in that at first you're very explicit about, oh, I want to gaining this, I'm doing this to gain bark. So because there's going to come a point of smoothness where you go, okay, I'm going into this role. I think in this depressed scene I felt isolated, so I've taken two, where you feel a little bit smoother with it. Right now we're kind of hitting those getting everything out on the table so we get used to it.
Yeah, there's a sense in which, when we rage, we rage.
Right. I also want to point out, I thought Paul pulling out the holy weapons right away to give that a try was great. And that was a really wild, wonderful failure on that. Yeah. So I did dig that. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.